to the CDG BizCast. I'm your host, Christian Gonzalez, owner of Creativity Design Group, a digital marketing firm in Houston, Texas. In today's episode, we shine our small business spotlight on Americana Pool Service, a pool contractor that has been serving the greater Houston area since 2014. Owner Karina Melendez joins us to discuss her and her husband Jorge's entrepreneurial journey into the swimming pool business, some tips for customers who are interested in getting a swimming pool or hot tub for their home, and why Americana Pool Service strives for #1 customer service and satisfaction in the cutthroat Houston area. Welcome, Karina. It's great to have you on BizCast today.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yes, it's a pleasure to have you on BizCast, and it's also your first episode you're recording with us. How do you feel about being on the show today?
It is. I'm a little nervous because it's our first time doing a podcast, but I'm excited to share some of our tips and the journey that we had from starting, as a solopreneur all the way to now that our business has grown.
Many solopreneurs often give up after their first year, mainly because they don't know the ins and outs of running a business. I talk about this in many different episodes that you could have a great skill and you may be the best at that skill, but if you don't know the business side of things, you're not going to succeed in business. That was not the case for you and George. Please tell us about Americana Pool Service's humble beginnings from over a decade ago.
Yes, absolutely. Our journey did begin in 2014 with a simple yet ambitious goal. And that was to provide high quality pool services with honesty, craftsmanship, and a personal touch. Like you mentioned, George started as a solo person. He spent countless hours studying pool chemistry, the ins and outs of pool servicing, and doing his own marketing. Back then, social media was not as big as it is now. So his marketing was to go knocking door to door and distributing his flyers. So what started as a solo business, it quickly grew to now a family-run operation.
And George did the absolute right thing. He actually studied the ins and outs of what it took to run a pool contracting business. And a lot of business owners don't go that extra mile. And like I said a few minutes ago, that's exactly why businesses often go under after their first year, because owners don't learn the ropes of what they need to know to run a business. They know their trade, they know their skill, but they don't know what it takes to run a business, such as marketing and financials and working with vendors and things along those lines. And George certainly showed that eye of the tiger there. He really wanted to not only start a business, but he wanted the business to be one of the greatest in the area. He didn't want to fail. He knew that in order to be successful, he had to know everything it took to run a contracting business.
That's correct. That's exactly what he did. Even if it's one person starting the business, it takes a lot of hats, right? It takes a lot of hats to conquer the outside, which is, like you mentioned, it's not just learning the trade, but learning the business side of it, the accounting, which is very important, right? How to bid your jobs.
That's exactly right. You have to have what I always refer to as an octopus mentality. You have to imagine you have all these different arms, and each arm is involved with a different task towards running the business. One arm is involved in accounting, one's involved with taking bids, another one's involved with marketing. You get the idea. You have to wear all the hats. You have to have all these different arms like an octopus has.
That's correct.
What was it like starting the business for the first time? How did you and George feel when you decided you wanted to get out there? You no longer wanted to work for anybody. You wanted to be solopreneurs and get a business going.
Yes. So George actually started the company by himself. I came in a couple years afterwards, but during the first years, he did mention what it was like for him. And he just loved the freedom. He loved the freedom of knowing that he was in charge of his customers. He was in charge of taking care of their pools. And he loved it. He loved every aspect of servicing the pools and making sure that the customers were happy with his work. And then a couple of years later, I came in the picture, and obviously we wanted to grow the business. And me having experience in multifamily, I knew the accounting side of it. So if we grew the business, the books were going to grow, right? So he needed to have someone that had knowledge on bookkeeping, that had knowledge on marketing, and not just marketing like, knocking door to door, but bigger marketing plans, bigger marketing ideas that would really give our company a name and and also get in front of people's eyes. And it was a little scary at first, right? But we adapted, we conquered, and here we are.
And that's what I like to hear when it comes to solopreneurs starting their first ever business venture. Every solopreneur has the same end goal in mind, to build the business up, create some brand awareness. And just like when I started CDG, I just enjoyed the freedom of not having a boss breathing down my neck every second and being able to work with people that I enjoyed working with versus working with people that I couldn't stand, which was the case when I used to work full time at a few of the companies I worked at before I started my own company. But it does feel good when you complete a job and they're beyond satisfied, and then they're going on Google Maps and other review platforms to leave that 5-star review just talking about how wonderful the experience was.
That's correct. It's a very good feeling. It's a feeling of satisfaction. It's a feeling of, you poured your heart out into whatever project that it was that you're doing, and you gave it your all. You gave it your 100% to the job, you gave 100% to the customer. And at the end of the day, if you do that, your business will reflect that, your income will reflect.
That's exactly right. You have to put in all your blood, sweat, and tears into every project. One way I like to think of it as have a Rocky Balboa mindset. We all know the story of Rocky. He was victorious in every one of his fights simply because his trainer always told him, don't forget the eye of the tiger, which means never give up, fight till the very end.
That's correct. It's 100% true. It's not always what they say, sunshine and rainbows, right? You're going to have maybe an upset customer or whatnot, but if you're ready and you prepare, you will know how to tackle down that issue. Right? If you make your plans to know what to do in these situations, and when that issue arises, you'll know how to take care of it and what to do to fix it.
That's exactly right. It's all about having a game plan, a contingency plan in place. You never know what could happen. It's always good to be prepared for the worst and always to be prepared for the unexpected. It would be unrealistic to say that every single day in business is going to be a jolly one. And you're right. I tell everything like it is, and my style of telling the truth, always remember that not everything in life is apple pie and honey. Sometimes the truth can be very harsh, and I tell it exactly how it needs to be told. You'll never hear me sugarcoat. I've had some experiences in the past myself where I may have had a few unhappy clients at first, but when you know how to work with them and rectify the situations, then that frown turns into a smile almost immediately.
That's correct.
Now I'd like to ask you some more about some tips for consumers who are interested in getting a pool or a hot tub. So when is the best time of the year for someone to get a pool constructed? And this is keeping seasonal weather and other factors in mind that could hinder construction.
So the best time to renovate a pool doesn't really revolve on a specific season, but more so it depends on the client's needs. For instance, some clients may want to take advantage of the winter months because their pool may not be utilized during those months, and they want to have their pool ready by summer. Right? Or you have some clients who take the summer and take advantage of, let's say they got a tax refund, right? That usually happens around February, March, April. They want to take that time to take advantage of those renovations or any repairs that they might need. To answer that question, it really just depends on the client's needs.
That's true. Not every situation is a one-size-fits-all cookie-cutter deal.
Correct. Each season, we can build swimming pools in the winter. We can build swimming pools in the summertime. So it's just up to the client's needs.
And we just had a major snowfall here in the Houston area. How did that impact business so far?
It did slow down our work for that week, but it also gave us a little, perspective on what we can do during those times, how we can help customers or our clients get their pools ready for the freeze, because not a lot of customers know how to take care of the pool. We have some clients that are brand new to having a pool, and they might not know their equipment, or they just bought a home with a pool and they have no knowledge on how to take care of their equipment. So even though we didn't get to work physically on building the pools, we were still working with other clients that had questions in regards to their equipment and just keeping their investment safe.
Right. In general, it's all about pool maintenance. That's another different sector of your business. Aside from construction, you'll also specialize in swimming pool and hot tub maintenance.
That's correct. We he specialized in the pool equipment, repairing pool equipment, troubleshooting, pool lights, basically anything that has to do with the backyard, concrete patios as well. We built outdoor kitchens. So anything that has to do with your backyard, we can transform any backyard.
Very impressive. It really shows how much blood, sweat, and tears, as I mentioned earlier, that you and George have put into this company, because y'all go beyond just swimming pools, I see. I'm going to put myself in the consumer's shoes for a second. Let's say that I am a guy who has 2 young kids. I mean, I don't have any kids in real life, but let's say that I did. And let's say I want to have a swimming pool built for them when school lets out for the summertime. What I would do is I'll probably be calling you either during springtime or early January or February to get that pool constructed. That way my kids would have a swimming pool as soon as summertime came. If I wanted to have a swimming pool ready for spring break, I would probably call you a little bit earlier than that, maybe even around December or November, if that's not pushing it. I know that's around the holidays, but that would probably be my ideal time frame. So as a professional, how would you feel about a customer like me who would want to do something along those lines?
Yeah, so that's correct on your timeline. If you want to have a swimming pool built by the time your kids get off of school in the summertime, I would suggest November or December would be the ideal times to start looking into your pool builder, start looking into permitting, making sure that the city that you live in allows the plants that you want to do for your backyard, right? And then also one of the big ones is having your budget set.
Right. There's a lot of homework involved towards getting a swimming pool started. It's not something that can be done overnight just like that. So if you want to get it done within a timely manner, you have to make sure all your ducks are in a row first. And how long would you say it takes for a typical backyard swimming pool to be built?
Yes. So a typical backyard pool usually takes 60 days. Now, you may see commercials that say, hey, we can build your pools in 30 days. That may be true, but honestly, to do it the right way, we have to do at least 60 days because there's a process. The pool is made out of gunite, and that gunite material needs to cure, right? Before you add tile to it or coping or any other material that you want to add to that pool shell, it has to cure. And the manufacturers say it has to be at least 2 weeks for that gunite to cure. And that already leaves you between a month and 2 weeks or so to complete the rest of your pool. So in reality, I would say a good pool is built anywhere between 60 days and 90 days.
That sounds like a realistic time frame. And what you said about commercials who say that they can get your pool done in 30 days or less, to me, honestly, that's just them blowing smoke to create a sense of urgency to get people to act. If you want to do a truly good job constructing a pool or something similar, I think it's best to take your time and not to rush things. I mean, I feel that they're trying too hard by mimicking what Domino's Pizza promised a long time ago, where they said if you didn't get your order in 30 minutes or less, it was free. You know, that creating that sense of urgency is just disastrous, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. Having a pool is a big investment. It's just like a house. I mean, you wouldn't want your house to get built in 30 days. There's so many steps that's involved in swimming pool building, and you don't want to rush that process. Again, it's a huge investment that you make for your family to create memories. You don't want to rush the process, and you don't really want to do it within 30 days. It's just not ideal, to be honest.
Oh, I agree 100%. I agree 1,000,000%. A lot of times when you see stuff advertised on TV in general, like I said, they're just trying to create a sense of urgency to get you to buy. But then, like they always say, good stuff is not always cheap and cheap stuff is not always good. And usually offers like that come with a lot of cost cutting. It's best to have quality and precision in mind. And the only way you can be truly precise is to take your time. Now, how can new customers who want a swimming pool or hot tub be best prepared for the construction? So this goes back to what we were just talking about when it comes to doing your homework. What can the customer do to be best prepared for a job like this?
Yes, that's a really good question, because we deal with these calls on a daily basis, and some customers really have no idea of what they're looking for. And so it is good to be prepared before you start making those calls to the pool builder. There's 4 questions that I would ask before calling your pool builder. One is, do you have a swimming pool design in mind? And will your design align with the space that you have? For example, if you see a pool design you like and it calls for your pool to be, let's say, 20 feet wide by 40 feet long, but when we look at your property survey, you only have a 10 easement line that cannot be encroached, right? The HOA does not allow easement lines to be encroached. So it's very important to know what design design you want to go with. And that helps the pool builder too. That's one of the first questions that we ask is, do you have a pool design in mind? Because that's going to help us determine what's going to be the next question, which the next question that we typically ask is, when are you ready to start construction? This is an important question because you have permits involved, you have inspections, and sometimes, like for instance, the city of Houston, you have several inspections that you have to schedule before going to the next phase. So in reality, with the city of Houston, you cannot build a pool in 30 days. There's just no way, because they have about 3 to 4 inspections that you have to file, and you have to get the city inspectors to go out there and make sure that you're ready to go on to the next phase. And also, weather plays a big role, right? If you're wanting to start your pool, let's say in September when it's hurricane season, we're going to be honest with you and tell you, okay, this is your timeline. However, keep in mind, we are in the hurricane season. So if there's rains, that can push the work back. So really knowing when you want to start construction, when you want to have your pool is really important. And I think the most crucial question is having a clear budget in mind, right? Example, if you have a budget of, let's say, $60,000, and you want a pool that's 18 feet wide by 30 feet long with a spa, some fire bowls, you want glass tile, just all these bells and whistles. But in reality, nowadays, here in 2025 with inflation, I can pretty much say that you're looking over $60,000 for that pool. So having a clear budget in mind will help us also design that pool for you, and we can tell you whether it fits in your budget or not. And we can also offer financing. So with us, with Americana Pool Service, we are now offering in-house financing, and we also partner up with 2 other lending companies that specialize in backyard renovations and home upgrades. That's all they do. So having those 3 questions answered before you call your pool builder will really speed things up, and you're going to know exactly what you're getting.
And that's very important for such a large investment. Every customer wants to know exactly what they're getting. It's also important for them to understand that they need to know if their project truly is feasible or not. And that's why you said they need to ask themselves, does the design that they want truly align with the space they're trying to get it outfitted for?
That's correct.
In fact, everything you said raises an additional question, and that is, what are some of the most common mistakes that homeowners make when they decide that they want to get a pool built, but they realize that they can't do it? What are some overall common mistakes?
Yes. One of the things that I've seen is, and I'm only answering with this answer because we've experienced it, right? We've had clients that, I guess, when they hire their pool builder, they base their hiring, they hire the pool builder based on pictures that they may have on Instagram or videos or Facebook or TikTok. And so one of the mistakes that I've seen is they hire pool companies that have not been in the pool business for a long time, that maybe just jumped in right around COVID time, because I don't know if you knew, but around COVID time, we had a big boom of swimming pool built. And not a lot of these pool builders really know the knowledge and schematics of a swimming pool. They just pretty much, subcontract the work. And because they're knowledgeable on maybe building homes, they think it's the same thing, but it really isn't. Swimming pool buildings is a whole total different area. It's not like building a home. You still do need your gas, your plumbing, your electrical, but it's a lot more things than just that. Another, issue would be the design of their swimming pool. Maybe they just kind of went by what the pool builder was telling them that they can have, and it fit in their budget and they were okay with it. But then we have customers to call us later on and say, hey, we really don't like our design. Can we change the spa, or can you add a spa to our swimming pool? And obviously we have helped them, and we've had customers where they've added a spa to their swimming pool. They've added a tanning ledge. There's a couple more features that they didn't think they were going to want, but then later decided that that they really needed those features.
Unfortunately, it can be a little hard to determine sometimes because as a customer, you might have a design envisioned in your head or based off of a photo that you saw. But when you actually see it in real life, then you're going to start to think, oh, okay, I want this, I want that. And that happens with us too when it comes to website building. They may have a certain design envisioned in their head, but then when they get the website built and they realize they want more features added to the website to make it even nicer than the way they originally envisioned it.
Right, that's correct.
As for being in the business, I think that if you're going to get into any type of business, you need to know exactly what your skill is. It's one thing to go into business and not know how to run a business, but what happens when you want to go into business and you don't even know the trade that you're trying to offer? In this case, not knowing anything about swimming pool construction, yet being in the business. To me, that is just a major mistake right there. Unless you know your stuff 100%, don't go into business. That's what I say.
Yes, that's 100% correct. 100% correct. I mean, we see this all the time, Christian, where we have clients call us and say, hey, we just got our pool built about 3 months ago, but something's not right. Either the structure's not correct and this falls within me telling you, it's best to take more than 30 days when you're building a swimming pool. Why? Because of the gunite and the tile. We've had customers have tile installed in their brand new pool, and then maybe 2-3 months later, there's calcium that's coming out from the front of the tile. That just tells you that they added that tile way too soon. They did not let that gunite cure. That's another mistake. And not knowing really when things need to be done or what steps goes next. Like it's not a sandwich, right? You're not making a sandwich. You have your bread and then your dressing and then your ham and your lettuce or whatnot, right? It's the same thing with the pool. You need to know the steps of what it takes to build a pool and also know the mistakes that can happen.
As professionals and business owners, we educate our clients on these things all the time, but it's up to them if they truly absorb what we're trying to teach them, because we can explain it in as plain English as possible, but they're still not going to absorb it because in their mind, this is not their trade. They're hiring us to do these jobs because they don't know anything about it. And because they don't have no interest in learning about it, they fail to learn certain aspects that will keep them from making big mistakes later like this.
That's correct. One thing about George is that he really educates the customer when he arrives to their home, whether they want to get a new pool or they already have a pool and they're having issues with their equipment. He loves to educate them on what their equipment does. And we've had customers who are like, wow, we really appreciate you giving us this information, because we've had others come by and they just slap us with a quote and that's it. And we really don't know what the solution is. It says that they're going to replace a part and that's it. But with us, we really pride in the knowledge that we have when it comes to equipment, to the pool schematics, to the pool chemistry. And we share that knowledge with the customer because that's what they hired us for, right? Like you mentioned, some clients may not have that knowledge. They don't really know anything about pool construction or pools, which is why they call us the experts. And so our job is to educate them and also so they won't make a mistake.
That's exactly right. I've seen it happen myself a few times where clients who have never touched a website in their life needed help getting it restored because something happened. And because they had followed the instructions wrong, they ended up destroying their entire website.
Yep, that's correct. It happens with swimming pools too.
So in general, it's important for the general public to understand that applying tiles onto a pool whose gunite has not fully dried up and settled in is a major bozo no-no, because it will cause calcium to build up eventually. And the pool's overall integrity will just end up becoming a mess.
That's 100% correct.
Now it kind of sounds like that you answered partially the next question I'm about to ask you, but what makes Americana Pool Service unique amongst other pool companies out there? I mean, this is the Houston area. There's a million different swimming pool contractors out there. What makes Americana Pool Service different than all the others, and why should customers choose your company versus theirs?
Yes, and I love to answer this question because I'm very proud to say that we take pride in being a hands-on pool company. And when I say hands-on pool company, I mean, you will see George and myself at times have been in the trenches. From beginning to end, you won't see random workers come in and out of your home, in your backyard, working in your pool. You will see our team. You will see George. You will see me afterwards adding the chemicals to your swimming pool. So one of the sayings that I like to say is that we're not a swimming pool broker. We are a swimming pool builder. And I love to say that because I'm very proud to say that all the work that we have done in the past on learning pool chemistry, learning how to set concrete, learning how to put tile, learning how to put coping, all that, it's really satisfying to our team. And we're very proud to say that we do the work. We don't subcontract our work. Now, there is some big things like, for instance, when it's a new construction, gun night, right? That's a very special trade and you need very special trucks for that and equipment. So that we don't do ourselves, but we use a sister company. So it's still within family. It's still within, using the people that we know that we trust for this part of the swimming pool build.
And that's what I like to hear about different small businesses out there. When they keep everything within the family, they don't overlook any details and everybody is just very close knit. That's what it takes to run a solopreneurship, because when you can keep everything as in-house as possible with familiar faces, then not only does it help get the job done faster because everybody's all on the same page over what to get done, but the clients start to view you as family because they get to know you on a more personal level. When you build a close relationship like that, it'll just make them want to recommend you even more and even recommend you to their friends, their family, anybody else who they know who might need a swimming pool or a hot tub or some other similar backyard related construction project.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, we get hired to do, let's say, a new swimming pool. We are entering our client's home and we want to make sure that we're bringing the best of the best to complete this project. We're not just having random people show up, do, let's say concrete or do tile. Because if we subcontract it, we don't know who these people are. And that's not really a good thing for our customers. We want to make sure our clients know 100% who they hired and who's going to be working on their property. And we have to show that we warranty the work, right? And if we do it in-house, it's just giving us more, pride knowing that we did it 100% correct.
That's exactly right. It really reflects on your company's branding when you can show off a project and say that you did it and not a subcontractor.
That's correct.
And I can honestly say, despite the fact that you and me have not met in person, but we've been communicating by phone on your websites and other marketing material, I know I could trust you and George if I ever need a swimming pool to come to my house to get one built versus anybody else.
Yes, thank you, Christian. I appreciate that comment. We really do give 100% to our clients. This is our livelihood. We're in the business. We have to kill for what we eat. And if we're only giving 50% or we just want the job and then we sub it out and give it to somebody else, that's not really giving 100%. We want to give 100% and we do give 100%.
What you're describing is bringing your A game, which is what a lot of other business owners need to understand, especially for the first time business owners. They need to bring their A game to every customer interaction, to every project, because in the end, like you said, this is your livelihood. And that's the same for many other solopreneurs out there too. If you want to stay in business, you've got to really show that you're serious about wanting to be in business. And that means taking care of every customer's needs and attending to them if there's any issues, making sure deadlines are being met, and also putting in quality work. That involves using quality materials, not cutting corners, not trying to use cheap materials and things like that. In the end, you want that product that you've given your end client, that deliverable, to be something that will last for many years to come.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
So for all the aspiring entrepreneurs out there who want to get into a home services-based business, what advice do you have for them? And this could be anything related to home maintenance, not just swimming pools, but anything like remodeling, electrical, plumbing, AC, anything along those sectors. What advice would you have for anybody out there who wants to start their own business?
The number one advice I would give is don't do it for the money. I would ask yourself, do you like working with your hands, critical thinking, finding solutions? And if the answer is yes to these questions, then the money will follow. Learn everything that has to do with that trade and around it. For instance, if you like to paint houses, learn everything about the different types of paints, the do's and don'ts, and learn how to bid your jobs. there's classes for contractors that will teach you how to properly bid your jobs. So when you do all this, when you prepare yourself for something that you're going to love, not like, that you're going to love and that you love to do and that you know you're going to give it your 100%, the money will follow. The clients will follow.
That is 1,000,000% correct. It is all about enjoying what you do, because if you enjoy what you do, you never work a day in your life.
That's correct. If you enjoy what you do, you don't consider it as work. And like we mentioned, building pools is a very big investment. And sometimes we build that bond with clients where they become family. We built pools maybe 4 or 5 years ago, and we still have the clients call us, or they get added to our social media and they're part of our milestones, birthdays or anniversaries or whatnot. It becomes a family, and that's not work, right? That would be like something that you love to do. And again, the money will follow. If you love what you do, the money will follow.
Yes, that's right. I could never get any of those things when it came to working full time, because I'm going to be honest, I never liked any of my past jobs that I worked at before I started CDG. So it was hard to get close to people or try to call them family. In fact, most of them were people I just wanted to get away from. But when I started CDG, same thing. Every client becomes family. They become a close friend and you start to call them family.
That's correct. I mean, with the swimming pool builds, like I mentioned, it takes nearly about 60 to 90 days, weather permitting, for us to complete that job. And sometimes we're there 8 hours a day, more than we are with our family. So we have to make that connection with our clients. And if you love what you do, the time would just go by super quick. You will not even realize it's already time to go home, because you're just enjoying putting tile or concrete or whatever it is. And also it's the smile on the customer's face after you find a solution for them. For instance, in our remodel projects, some customers just want to replaster their swimming pool. And when we do that, at the end of the week, they're so happy with the turnout and they get to enjoy their pool now. They're not embarrassed by having their family over and, just having a patchy swimming pool. Now they can invite their family and they're going to enjoy a nice swimming pool. And we love to see that.
It's always such a great feeling to know that your customer loves the end product so much that they're just showing it off to all their friends and family. That's when you know you've given that true 5-star experience that every business owner should strive for. And a lot of people in general, especially people who don't understand business the way you and I do, if I said that you should always strive for a 5-star experience, the average person will probably think that that's unrealistic. Well, guess what? It's not unrealistic. You and I have done it every single day for our entire careers.
That's correct.
And also, when it comes to pool maintenance, do you have any quick tips for helping pool owners keep their water clean, prevent mildew and algae from building up, from preventing that nice, crisp blue looking water turning to that ugly, slimy green water that I've seen many times at different pools?
One of the main things, to be honest, Christian, is learning the chemistry of your swimming pool. There's tons of YouTube videos that clients can see that will teach you what each chemical means and what they need for their swimming pool. It's not that hard to manage your own pool maintenance. However, it's just, the lack of knowledge or even the lack of wanting to do it. But once you spend time on learning the chemistry, for instance, if it rains outside, right? Like today, it's raining and we're going to have a couple of days of rain. What to do next? You have to know that either you're going to shock your pool or you're going to add some muriatic acid. It's very simple. It's not that hard. There's these little strips that they sell and it reads the pool chemistry and the readings on your pool. And if you know the basics on the chemicals that you need for your swimming pool, then you will be set. Whether, let's say, the pH is high and the alkalinity is high, all you need is just muriatic acid to bring it down. Or if you don't have enough shock in your pool, that strip of reading is going to tell you, hey, you don't have enough chlorine. So then you have to add chlorine. It's very simple. As long as that you test your pool every week, as long as you check the pool after you have a rain and after you have, like, let's say a big gathering and people are coming in and out of your pool, as long as you have that maintained, you will have a clear swimming pool. And you clean your filters every 6 months.
Yes, that's very important. Clean your filters every 6 months. A lot of people probably neglect these things because they just don't feel like doing them. But if you truly are serious about keeping a clean pool, one that's presentable, maybe you're going to be inviting people over for parties. Summertime is not that long from now. I mean, it's only February, but before you know it, the triple digit weather is going to be here. So I would say maintain your pool now, make sure everything looks good. And if you're thinking about getting a swimming pool built, now would be the time to do it if you want it to be ready by summertime.
That's correct. We're in February, so we can have that pool ready for you by summertime.
Going back to what I was saying earlier about spring break, let's say you want to get a swimming pool done in time for spring break. Maybe you have kids who want to invite friends over during that time and the weather's nice enough for going swimming in. So when would be the ideal time of the year to get a pool started so you could have it ready by the time spring break rolls around in March?
Right. So the best timing would be now. Spring break is in March. So right now we're in February, and it just depends on where the home is located. For instance, the city of Houston usually takes 30 days to approve permitting. And here in Montgomery, they don't require permitting. However, the HOA does. And they're usually quicker about approving applications for swimming pools. Normally it takes them 2 weeks to get it approved. I would say the best time to get a pool built is now.
And what about for Harris County? For example, I am in Mission Bend. Mission Bend is outside of Houston city limits in the unincorporated portion of Harris County. What's the permitting process like for this particular area?
Yeah, so Harris County actually does a really good job on getting applications approved really quickly. Their application format is online, and you can submit the plans online, you can submit your application online, and they're really on top of it, to be honest. When we had clients submit applications for swimming pools, I get the applications approved within 2 weeks versus the city of Houston, who have several departments, and they can take anywhere between 30 days to 90 days. I've seen sometimes it pushes it up to 4 months just because they have different departments that have to approve every section of the pool build, the excavation, and then before you go into the next phase, they have to send out an inspector, right? And then plumbing has to get approved. So all that for the city of Houston takes more than 30 days, but for Harris County, it takes literally anywhere between 7 to 14 days to get it approved.
So now another important question arises out of this situation. So how would a homeowner know when they have to file for their permits with the county versus filing with the city? So in my case, I live directly in Harris County, but I don't live inside the city limits of Houston or any other major city. It's an unincorporated area. In this case, if I wanted a pool, I would have to go through Harris County. But for homeowners who don't know, how would they know when they have to file for their permit with the county that they're in or their city?
They can call us. We have that information. So we will have clients call us, and whenever we're asking questions, in regards to like what they're looking for, the size of pool, when are they looking to build? Whenever we ask, when are you looking to have this pool built? That's the question where we'll say, okay, well, where are you located? And we give that information to the client. So I know pretty much all the cities around Houston, like Rose Sharon, what their timeline is, Tomball, Katy, Harris County. So we give them that information, and we are the ones who submit the applications. The customer doesn't have to do that. We submit all the applications and all the drawings ourselves.
And that's perfect. It streamlines everything easy for the customers. That's just one less headache that they don't have to worry about. They put all of that information, all that work in your hands, and they just sit back and watch you work.
That's correct. We also handle their HOAs. So for instance, if you live in an HOA community, we make those phone calls. Some communities or a lot of HOAs have different regulations versus a city. And so we always want to make sure that we make that phone call and get, the new rules that they may have. Sometimes they may change them. And so we want to make sure we take care of that for the homeowner as well.
And that's perfect. The homeowner can sleep easy at night knowing that Americana Pool Service will handle every single aspect of it, from permitting all the way down to construction, cleaning, and maintenance. It just helps put their mind at ease, especially if their head is buzzing with questions. But yes, well, I'm going to go ahead and close out the episode. But before I do, Karina, Karina, do you have anything else that you would like to share with us that we didn't get to cover earlier?
I think we pretty much covered everything that has to do with swimming pools. And again, if anybody's interested or just have questions in regards to swimming pools, please just give us a call. We'll be happy to answer. We'll be happy to share what we know about our pools, what we know about swimming pool equipment. We're always happy to help our clients, and just give us a call.
And where can potential new customers find you or contact you at?
Clients can find us on all social media platforms. We are on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, on Google Maps, and our website, which is www.americanapoolservice.net.
And I just want to mention on a side note that website is one that I personally built and supervise, and y'all have a great online presence now.
Yes, thank you so much, Christian, for your help. You were really on top of building this website for us, and we really thank you for that.
And I certainly look forward to working with you and Americana Pool on any future endeavors that may come up later on this year. It's a brand new year, and I know that this is going to be a great year for your company. You've already endured a whole decade of being in business. Now you're going on to year 11. How does that feel?
It feels great. It feels like we're doing something right.
If you weren't doing something right, you wouldn't have been in business this long. Remember that.
That's correct.
Well, thank you once again for coming on the show. It was a pleasure, and I hope you have a great day. Remember, everybody out there, if you're in the Houston area and you want a quality swimming pool or hot tub built for your backyard, you know where to go. Americana Pool Service is the place. Thank you, Karina.
Thank you, Christian. Thank you, Creativity Design Group.
And thank you for listening to the CDG BizCast. We hope you have a great day. We look forward to seeing you in the next one.